Hi guys, I'm Leanne. We're over here in the Academy today on the first day of our bobs and precision courses. I've got my lovely model Jess with me, and I've also got 4 externals, partly from near Oxford and partly near Hampshire, and then we also have the OGs from Blue Tit Salon. Okay, so my model Jess, we're going to go for more of a 90s kind of sleek bob inspo. The idea behind the haircut is working something that sits quite shattered, quite soft, but also has an element of not looking overly layered. She has very, very strong, high density in the hair, so the thickness is actually quite a lot. So we need to remove the weight, but without actually visually seeing layers in there. We want to be able to kind of analyze and decide on like bone structure, and when bone structure is very important, we want to maybe touch on working what area of length is going to be more suitable for each client. So facial features, bone structure, growth patterns, hairline, and density and weight. So they're the main kind of key things that I want to cover today. We are going to be working straight into layering, horizontal sections. Remember, horizontal sections help us build weight or control the weight in the hair, but because I'm using a high elevation, it is allowing me to remove the weight, okay? I still want to see something that sits structured but shattered at the same time, and I want to see movement but not necessarily layered, but with a layering technique. So it's like I'm saying one thing and going against it, but I promise you, you'll be blown away. So I'm choosing where I basically want my length to sit. So I know I'm going to bring my length up to here. So if I was to bring this down, my layer is sitting around there. So I only really want the ends to sit like that much different from the layers. So your choice of how much to remove will be determined on how much length you're maintaining. And I'm making sure my fingers stay completely horizontal, but I'm pushing my fingers as close to the back of the head as I basically can. Like, we're going to use a guide, we're not going to use any connection whatsoever. So there literally will be zero connection through any of this haircut. Every section will be disconnected from each other, okay? But I'm going to use the previous section as a guide to go longer, okay? If we start working longer throughout the hair, you're visually not going to see much layering through there, but you're going to find something that sits in slimmer. Now, if everything's cut to the same length, it expands, yeah? If everything's cut at different lengths, it overlaps each other. It can sit on top of each other, but flatter. So, next section, we're just going to do exactly the same, elevating higher, but leaving longer, okay? As I move up, it will start adding more bits to the actual length, which will come through and connect into the line after, especially more around this area. We'll start getting more length, which then we can come through and loosen off that heaviness of the length later on. So keep your fingers flat, keep the elevation high. But I'm just going to make sure that the head position stays up fully straight, and then again mirroring my section to my cutting line, and each section becomes longer and longer again. Now we're bringing that in to match throughout this underneath area. We're taking less off because this has further to travel to hit that bottom line. If we take more off, when that has further to travel to sit over this, it's going to start becoming more shorter and more visual throughout that back area. Can you now see how much slimmer that all feels in there? As I bring this out, can you see the disconnection in there? Yeah? It's there, there, and there, yeah? Obviously now, we need to be very mindful of how the hair naturally grows. So I can see that this kind of falls backwards slightly. That's going to come into my layering technique. Same on the other side. I don't want to force the hair to sit anywhere that it wouldn't necessarily naturally want to fall. But firstly, we're controlling over the ears. Yeah, I don't want the hair to have a jump, so we still want to have that stiffness. Now, I know that the thickest part of Jess's hair is the back, so we need to make sure that we're only knocking off the weight on the sides slightly. All of that is layered, but obviously I'm going to come through with the razor and just shatter that edges off, the same as what I've done through that back area. Section. So remember, we don't want any heaviness, so there's not much that needs to come off. It's more this front area where there's no ear to kind of expand it. So you can see shorter, longer, longer and longer. It's very, very subtle as you come through that front area. And as it's then styled, you're still keeping more of a structure towards the haircut, and when it's styled, more of that swept back, sleeker sort of finish. You've got no bulk behind you. But you look from side to side, when you actually think of the length that I took off there, it was bare minimal, but it's a big difference when you actually look. So I'm just going to repeat exactly the same on the second side. Right, so we're going to come through this front area, take some weight away, and I want to keep it softer, so this time I am going to keep that slightly a bit more point tipped, using the tips of my scissors. And I'm just going to take the diagonal back section, slightly a bit more of a convex cutting angle, which is following the head shape. Just gonna keep the underneath tasseled out. It looks so cute, I love it. So I always really like to work with Away products. Flux Potion I always love putting on dry hair, and then leaving it to naturally kind of dry in. But I think Flux Potion Next Day Cream are amazing products to like finish with. Flux Potion is more of like a liquid gel styling lotion, designed more so to go on wet hair and then blow dry in, but it gives off such a nice finish after. And it has a nice hold to it. Next Day Cream basically takes like the fluffiness away from the hair. Next Day Cream will give you the next day feeling without it feeling greasy, oily, dirty, all of that. So, and it just gives you that element of like control to the fluffiness or the frizz within the hair. So, purely layered haircut. We've gone through and we've started through this back area, and then we've worked horizontal sections throughout the back. Each section we've layered throughout, and we've started off very, very small through the back, and each section became longer, longer and longer. So it's like an internal layering, and the way that we've done it, each section goes around about ½ an inch, roughly, longer than the previous. If anything's too close to the previous length, then it starts looking more like the same length, which ends up being bulky. Then we've obviously could go slightly longer, difference between, but then that becomes more visual layering technique, and then you would see a lot more movement and a lot more layers towards the hair. The idea was just to create this really shattered sort of feeling. So horizontal sections throughout the back, each section becomes longer, longer, longer and longer. This has further to travel than the underneath. So you will still see a light amount of layering on the edges, but because it's done to a very small section, it doesn't actually look layered, yeah? Then we come through on this side area. Obviously we've got a few little shorter pieces around the front, but we come through exactly the same horizontal sections, and each section again becomes longer and longer, and we've razor cut the edges off completely. So once we've layered it, not really much more than this needs to come off, maybe just ever so slightly. A little bit more on the corners. And then through the top, if you put your head forward for me, we worked a slight little triangle section. I brought the hair completely up, worked it on a flatter part to start with, and then into more slightly convex, just to work a little bit more of a curvature and add that little bit more looseness around this kind of front pieces. And then what we done, we put flux potion in, we used finest fluid, and we used a little bit of bodifying throughout the front. Put 2 little flat clips in on the sides, styled it back using a diffuser, keeping the edges more tasseled, more softer, and then again flux potion throughout. Okay guys, thanks for watching. If you like and subscribe to our YouTube page, the link below will have all the courses that you can come and see at Blue Tit, as well as my own courses, Bob's and Precision course, which is today, or our Disconnection course. But thank you so much.